Reid, at a recent play party, you
Yes, Cathy?
shared something about voyeurism that I thought was really powerful, and I was wondering if you'd share it for the camera. This is Reid Mahalka from readaboutsex.com.
This is Cathy Vartuli from theintimacydojo.com. Cathy, what is a play party?
A play party is basically an orgy. It's a space where people can go and have sex or watch people having sex, and a safe space where consent is valued and safe for sex and getting to explore and have pleasure with each other.
But I've been to play parties where consent really wasn't the focus.
I like to only go to ones where consent is the focus. Different people run them different ways, and I'm not saying that every play party is going to focus on consent. I'm very careful about which ones.
But they should.
They should, in my opinion. It's so important. So I love that you start your welcome circle with discussions of consent every time. I model that as well. But you were talking at this play party about voyeurism and how not to be creepy when you're a voyeur. Because voyeurism is participation at Reid's and my play parties. I think it's wonderful. People don't ever have to play. It's okay just to be there and either be a lube fairy and hand lube if you want, or just sit there and watch or wash dishes. I did that in many of the first play parties I went to because I was so nervous. I was afraid to leave the food area, but I wanted to be of service and help me calm down.
Must stay busy.
I washed all the dishes.
Watching people have sex must stay busy.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
But I loved how you shared, we're going off topic, about some people when they're voyeurs, they're watching, there's a sense of like people want to be respectful voyeurs in general, but there's a creepy factor sometimes or discomfort that can come in. And what you shared about the energy of it and how to let it come to you and the distance to keep was brilliant.
So here's some advice. And this might, your mileage may vary. I'm going to invite you to try this out. I'm not saying it's the way, but it seems to be an interesting conversation to have with yourself and with other people about what feels appropriate and what feels creepy or weird in life in general, but certainly at an event where people are having sex in front of you. So at a play party or an orgy or a swing party or a BDSM dungeon, certain alternative cultures have their own nuances and protocols for how they like things done. So you need to ask and figure out what the protocols are for that particular subculture. But around voyeurism, unless somebody wants you to be creepy, because that turns them on, most people do not want the creepy vibe happening when they're playing with somebody. Or even if they're just like at a sex party masturbating in the corner, they don't want the creepy vibe.
Yeah.
So if we can assume, overall, human beings do not want the creepy vibe, I understand there are some people who are like, oh no, Reid, I want the creepy vibe.
But negotiate that separately.
But those people will ask for it, usually, at a play party, because they figured that out about themselves. But if we assume it's non-creepy is what most people want, and it enhances their experience for you not to be creepy, now as a nerd, I'm like, ooh, how do we not be creepy? Around voyeurism, where you are allowed to watch at a play party, because it would be weird if it was like, welcome, everyone, you can have sex, but you cannot watch each other. So you're doing this all the time.
Weird, yeah.
That's weird. But at a play party, it's like, no, we're here to express ourselves, to not be ashamed, so you can look.
Yeah, but there's a certain first physical distance issue.
Yeah, how do you look appropriately? One is some sort of physical distance.
Not
Understanding that in different parts of the country, New Yorkers, this is personal distance because we're crammed into on a subway all the time. If you sat on a bus this close to somebody in the Midwest, they wouldn't know what's going on. In New York, if I sit down right next to somebody on the subway and there's a seat open here, they kind of know what's going on. It's not weird, So, play party distance is not like being really close to people. So, kind of like a fire engine, it says stay 500 feet back. I would say stay at least 3 to 6 feet. And
depending how crowded the space is.
3 feet is pretty close too.
Yeah.
Right?
Depends how crowded the space is.
That's probably 3 feet.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if there's 80 people crammed into one hotel room, now it's a little bit different. Now we're on a subway.
Yes.
And we understand. But now there's a difference between, we're on a subway and we're on a subway and I'm staring at you. That's different. So,
or you're kind of like rubbing your arm.
Yeah, or I'm like, trying to get some side boob, right? So the thing that we model at our play parties is the ask, like, is it okay if I watch?
Yeah.
So you could approach a couple or a group that's fucking, and you can be, 10 feet away and probably be fine. We'll talk about energy in a second. But if you want to be close, because maybe you're like me and you can't fucking see. So you're like, if it's okay, you can be like, I'd like to watch. I don't have my glasses. May I come closer?
And you probably don't want to ask them as they're at the point of orgasm.
Yeah, they're like, I'm just about to come. And you're like, excuse me. I know you're about to come, but can I watch? Like, don't do that.
Look for an appropriate pause in the...
Exactly. But the idea of how to be polite in excuse me, asking, means you also kind of need to know what you want to ask for. And that's a skill that you get better at. The energy piece is really, really interesting and useful, which is this exercise where I'm going to ask you to do it with us.
It's really cool.
Okay? So, one, I want you to imagine that your eyes are like flashlights and your vision, you're watching us, and the energy's pouring out of your eyeballs and bathing us. Yeah. Okay? And so, like, you've got the energy coming out and bathing. And now the next example is energy bathing, but you want to, like, tractor beam the experience back into your brain. Like your eyeballs are straws and you're sucking the experience in. Those two versions can feel really creepy for a lot of people, especially people who are kind of energetically sensitive, because it can feel like you're taking yourself and trying to put it on people.
Or pull them to you.
Or take from the experience. And that can just feel weird. Mm-hmm. Then, the third thing, which I want you to try, is imagine. You can close your eyes and open them if that helps. But imagine, just let the energy, the light that's bouncing off your screen, let us just come to you.
Just a random...
Kind of like if you're just sunbathing. You're not trying to take from the sun. You're letting what's happening just... Arrive. That's a good word. Just let it happen. Don't take. And then enjoyment-wise, keep your energy inside yourself. Like it can kind of like radiate a little bit, but you're not fire hosing your enjoyment onto people.
Or letting it go out as tentacles to try to
like grab on or hang on to people. So this is just the beginning of you just exploring how do you stay appropriate without trying to be clingy or take. And again, there might be little nuances for you. So as you try this experiment, please leave a comment about what you notice so that we can share and have a conversation about something that doesn't get talked about a lot. And let us know how that goes for you.
Yeah. And realize if you haven't been to a lot of play parties, there's a lot of like a starvation feeling, like, oh my God, I've never got to see this stuff other than Playboy when I was 14. There might be that. It might be hard not to. Just take a deep breath and remind yourself that you can get these needs met in different ways now, and it's okay to just let it arrive to you.
You're allowed to sunbathe and then feel joy. That's very different than, I'm taking the energy of the sun. Leave a comment. Let us know.
I hope this helps.
Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like...